Hi, welcome back to another episode of Culture and Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's video, we're going to be working on a Camera Ladies Roadster again. Hopefully my MSD distributor and new coil comes in, so we'll solve the tachometer issue. We're actually going to work more, well, we actually have to work on the interior because I need a place to sit in order to test drive it. So we started making some of the panels. We have the insulation in on the floor from last week. A few things are laid out already. We're going to focus on that, try and move that forward. And then over in the other garage, you saw Ellie's coupe leave last week. We don't have a new project in there just yet. The 35 chassis is planned to leave in the next day or two. So the gentleman that owns the 35 pickup chassis actually has more projects. He's not decided yet what he's bringing to me. It's going to be a 32 to 34 Ford of some kind. We know that, but it's going to be a surprise to both you and me. So anyways, follow along, see what we're up to.
Well, before we get too deep into the upholstery on the Camera Ladies Roadster, one thing I realized I hadn't done was put some sound deadening in. Now for a Roadster, I don't know if it's going to make a whole lot of difference or not, but we tend to want to put a little bit in to get a little bit of road noise out from inside. But anyway, top will be down most of the time. We're going to hear the wind, so at least for some of the heat coming off the exhaust, I guess it's a good practice to do. We're going to be putting like insulation underneath the carpet as well. So I had a bunch of this kill mat left over. We've used Dynamat before. I find the kill mat is about the same. And quite a bit less expensive. I noticed a lot of other builders are using the same thing. So I had so much of it. So the decision was to try and get the front floor, the kick panels, and then up the firewall so far underneath the seat. And then I had enough to do behind here on both sides of where we will sit. Don't have enough to do the floor in the back. Can always go do it later, but because it's not going to be covered. But for now, what we decided to do was put the sound deadener and the heat shield on the floor and the kick panels where we're going to be putting the upholstery in. So got that done. The camera lady is away right now, so she'll probably be starting on the upholstery for next week's episode. We've got some stuff cut up. I found my old cardboard template for the doors that we did on Brenda's Roadster. I must have cut off something on the bottom of that, so I'm going to have to remake another one, but at least I've got something to start with. So what I'll do right now is I'll be working on some of those panels to potentially upholster for next week. But another thing off the list of things to do on the Camera Ladies Roadster. So today we're working on the Camera Ladies Roadster, doing the interior. Camera Lady's doing almost all of the work. I'm throwing my comments in here and there, but she's working away on it. We originally had made the bottom seat and we weren't happy with the shape of it, so we're going to redo it. But then once we started fooling around with the inside, thinking through the process of getting everything in, we realized it was probably better that we actually did the carpet on the floor first. Then it's just going to be much easier without the seat into it. We also realized we needed to do the back side panels here before we put the seat in place. But then after thinking about the carpet, it's better we do the carpet, do the inner panels on both sides, then we have the front done. Then we're going to shift to doing the seat and then the inner panels on, well, actually do the inner panels and then the seat. So sometimes when you work through these projects, you start on one thing and kind of have to shift gears because you haven't got things, the right chess moves, so to speak. So right now what the camera lady's done, she's starting to put the insulation on the floor. Some of it is actually glued to the floor, like right here, this is glued to the floor. We have wiring going across here, so what we've done, we've kind of put like a little slot there for the wiring to sit in the slot, so you're not going to feel it with the carpet on top. Now some of this is, and then on the other side here, we don't have it glued down because we ultimately want to be able to lift the carpet up later to access the panel for the master cylinder. This carpet here will ultimately be glued to the tunnel. And then here, the firewall, I kind of messed this up earlier. She had it
pushed all the way up. We're going to have the carpet glued to the firewall right up to this point, so that when you're looking in from the car, like at this point, you're, at eye level kind of thing, you're not going to see the firewall. You'll see it finished up to the firewall. So those two pieces will be glued in. There'll be another section that will be glued to the top of this hump, but we'll be able to lift it up and undo the screws and take this panel out if we have to. Once that's done, she's going to make two nice removable floor mats that will go across here and then up the firewall. So that's the kind of summary of the plan for doing the carpet and the floor. We're hoping to get all of this forward section done before the end of the episode, and then maybe start on the back section here. But the focus right now is actually shifted to doing the forward part of the Roadster, getting the floor and the inner panels done. I've made some cutouts for the doors here as well, but those can actually be done at the very end. We started on that. And then right now over in the other shop, the 35 chassis, unfortunately, due to circumstances we can't control, has not left yet, and a new project hasn't come in. So right now we're kind of limited to working on this. The camera lady's going to keep on working on this today. I've actually got a couple shop improvements to do while everything's out of the shop. I won't bore you with details of that, but what I'll do is I'll show you some of the things we're going to clean up over there, just to make the place a little bit more lighting friendly and whatnot over there. So anyways, follow along here. We're going to push the interior ahead on the Roadster. As I said, the 35 chassis hasn't moved yet. Just there's some logistical issues with the owner. It's still going. I'm still planning on picking it up. He's just sidetracked with some other stuff right now. Ellie's coupe left, which leave this bay open, which allowed me to do the last of the winter tire changes for family members. As some of you have seen, we have this temporary paint booth that I've used over the past few years. You can still see the paint on the floor underneath there. So the plastic is to the point where there's paint onto it, it's flaking off. It's actually dangerous to, well, not dangerous, but just not conducive to new painting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of that down. I've got a couple LED lights out and blinking, as you can see. Got a brand new box of LED lights. And then the other thing is that I have been working with only drywall on one half of the shop here. So I bought myself a drywall lift, which hopefully I can go get some drywall on Tuesday, start putting that up. But we're going to do a little bit of shop renovations here in the short term, just to bridge the gap until the new project comes in here and the 35 chassis goes out. There are at least 3 different projects coming in. Timing is the thing right now. So until that stuff comes in and the 35 goes out, I'm going to work on a few shop improvements here, and the camera lady is going to focus on the upholstery for the Roadster. So there's the finished carpet. The camera lady finished off kind of just what we talked about. We basically have a mat here that can lift up. It's got padding and insulation underneath it to keep down the road noise. This section lifts up, that section lifts up, and then ultimately this section lifts up on the edges, like I said, and then you can undo the screws to take the transmission cover off. And then we've got the carpet all the way up the firewall to this point. Now we still have to put the gas pedal back in place, the boot on the shifter. I've got to make or buy a boot for the e-brake cable. But at this stage, where we're at is that now I can go cut out the panels and cut and fit the panels for the kick areas on this side and that side, and we'll get that upholstery done. But we're inching along here, just like I said, one piece at a time. So tonight, working on the front kick panels, upholstered kick panels for the camera lady's Roadster. This example here is the rear ones behind the seat. It's made out of, it's like 1/8 MDF. I like to use these Ford style clips here.
Essentially, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I drill a pilot hole right there into the metal where I'm going to attach it. Then I follow up the hole, and I'll show you in a few minutes on the Roadster with a 9/32 hole. And then these recess holes here are 5/8 of an inch offset, and these clips just, as you can see, push in there. Some of you are probably familiar with these types of clips. It's kind of like what I used to use, like that's what I like to use. I've used the pushed in plastic ones, but I tend to break when they come out. These metal ones have some resilience. You can put a tool in and pull them out and whatnot. So this is what I've made up for the kick panels, and we're going to go down to, and there's an example of a kick panel piece roughed out. We're going to go down to the camera lady's sewing room here, where I've got one of the panels made up, and I've got the upholstery on it. So this is the back side. I like, well, the type of glue I normally use, I can't get anymore, but this is the stuff that I'm using this time. It was recommended by an upholsterer. I never use just the glue. I use the glue to put the material on, and I just staple the daylights out of it. That way, if the glue ever fails, the staples are holding it in place. So in this particular case, I've got 3 clips here, but underneath there's 2 blind holes for the door checks. So I'm going to poke holes there for the door checks to come in later. And there is the front side. The camera lady made some nice tuck and roll. She did a nice red bead there to accent it. Piping, I think is what it's called, for you upholsterers out there. So anyways, what we're going to do, I'm going to take that panel and go stick it in the car. I've already got one into it now, and then we'll get the front all sorted out. So right there you can see one of the holes I've drilled, another one above it, and another one above there. And because we have these 2 threaded holes here for the door check straps, I don't need like a 4th clip. So what I'm going to do now, I can't show you because I don't have the camera stand here, but I'll pop that in place. It's basically just a matter of lining these clips up with those holes and giving a nice little tap in, and then it'll hold themselves in place. And there we are. Like I said, it literally just give it a little pop with your hand. Those little things will snap into place. We've got the driver's side in place. And there is the passenger one. So right now in the front, all I have to do, I got to put the shifter boot on, hook up the gas pedal, and then we're going to move on to the back panels there and then the seat. I'm not sure how much further we'll get on this episode, but at least we've got the carpet and the front end of the car done. So like I said, we're pushing along with building the rear inner door cards. As you can see there, I've got the passenger side done. I've got a line there lined up for where I want to make sure that that red piping goes from front to back. The doors we're probably going to do last. I've got to go out and buy some more material, but in order for us now to do the seat, like I said, needed to do the door cards. And then we're going to redo the bottom. We're going to redo the bottom, make it a little more plush, put the red piping into it and kind of reshape it a little bit. But right now we've got the passenger side door done. I did it exactly the same as I did the ones in the front. And then I've got the driver's side done as well, right there. So it's going to cover more than what the seat will cover, but I just kind of pushed it back and made sure that it covered everything. As you can imagine, the back of the seat is going to cover the majority of that, but I didn't want to be able to look in on a crack without, kind of seeing some upholstery. So that's 2 more done.
So we got a few more things done. The rear panels that are beside the seat, we got those done the same way we did the kick panels. Essentially, tuck and roll on the bottom, nice bead or forget what it's called, but nice piping across the top, soft panel on the top of it here. Got them fitted in, use those little Ford clips just like I described on the front. Now, I didn't go through making these panels up because we've got quite a few videos in our library of how I actually cut them, fit them, stapled them, glued them, and everything else. I'm hoping the camera lady will be able to put a link maybe at the end of this to go to some of that stuff. When it comes time to go to do the door panel, if people are really interested, let me know. I'll do the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak, of how we cut the cards out, you know, lay out the foam, do the material, and put them on the door. But we have covered it several times before. But let me know anyways. So anyways, both of those are done. The carpet is done. Everything is cool with that. I was able to go pick up the MSD distributor today. That came in the coil, but was not able to get it in the car. So fingers crossed that's going to solve our problem of the tach not working. Much better distributor anyways, so that's really not a bad thing. So we'll get on to that. And then over in the working garage, I was talking about putting some drywall up with every intention of going to buy some drywall, but a mouse decided to make a nest underneath the intake manifold on my F-150. So F-150 was out of service, so couldn't really go anywhere to get anything. So that since has been fixed. Nice little bill, insurance covered some of it. Some of you guys out there probably had similar situations with mice getting in and eating the new wiring in some of the cars. But anyway, we're a victim of it this time. We got it fixed up. Next week I'll get on to the drywall and start doing that in the other garage. The gentleman is still supposed to come pick up the 35 chassis. He's still winding up with some of his fishing and stuff like that. So as soon as that's done, that'll go out. There are still new projects lined up to come in the shop. They're not here yet, but we'll show them to you as soon as they're here. But anyways, we did get some stuff done on the Camera Ladies Roadster. It is moving forward. We're really happy with the way the black is and the red piping. Weren't too sure on the red piping as how it was going to look, but I really like it. Tell me what you think. But anyways, that's it for this week of Coldstream Rod Shop. It's a short one. Sorry about that, but only one project to work on, so that's all we can do. So anyways, come on back next week, check and see what we're up to, and everybody take care. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks. Take care.